The beaches may be the main destination in Pensacola, but tonight, all eyes are on a different attraction. Five Flags Speedway, nestled 30 miles from where the ocean meets the sand, where the best of the best from all genres of racing hit the short track. The drivers are ready. Lap 2 of the Camping World SRX Series starts now.
Drivers, start your engines!
Here we go. Buckle up. The superstar racing experience is green. This place is fast. It can be mean. Final lap.
Who will take the checkered flag?
What a finish. A feature win. A dream come true. An SRX checkered flag.
That's what this is all about.
Superstar Saturday night.
Oh boy, here we go. Oh man, this is going to be fun.
Come on.
Who gets the jump? They're still open and banging.
You're good, you're good, you're good.
We're not done yet. Are you ready to light this thing up?
Watch me.
We are thrilled to welcome you to the second season of the Camping World SRX Series on CBS. As you can probably tell already, the heat here in Pensacola will only be matched by the sparks that are flying on this racetrack behind me. Here's what you need to know before we wave the green flag on a brand new season.
Get ready. The green flag on the Camping World SRX Series, Lap 2, is about to drop. For those that need a little refresher on what it is, let's break it down. The S, you guessed it, our superstars are back. Smoke is ready to defend his crown, but it won't be easy. Not against this lineup. Waltrip, Andretti, Labonte, Biffle, Julio, Kanan, Ernie, and Haley are back. Not to mention a couple new guys named Ryan, the Indy 500 champ Hunter Ray, and, hello, Newman. Plus Kenseth, Newgarden, not one but two Elliots, two Blaneys, and of course, everyone's favorite nemesis, Paul Tracy. Throw in the local track champ and a surprise ringer, and you've got fireworks for 6 straight Saturday nights. The R is all about the racing, and it's set to be fierce. The cars are still the same, fine-tuned and ready to roll. But to add to the challenge this season, we've thrown in a few new tracks, running on asphalt for the first 4 weeks before closing out the series with 2 sure-to-be-wild races on dirt. Now that's how you determine a champion. The weekly format, 2 timed heats that will set the starting lineup for the epic main event. As for the X, let's just say you won't find another experience like this one. We'll take you inside the driver's seat with no pit stops, no tricks. Just old rivals going all out to see who's best. It's time to crank up summer and take another ride. This is the Camping World SRX Series.
You heard it. This is the first of 6 short track Saturday nights. It's time to get the action started, so we're going to go trackside where we find 2 of the founders of this series, George Hine and Sandy Montag. Gentlemen, take it away.
Drivers, start your engines.
Tonight, we're excited to welcome a new face to our broadcast booth. He just finished a career best 6th in this year's Indy 500. He loves a joke. He's easy to bring. He's got great hair. And ask him about what happened to his hot tub if you happen to see him. That would be Connor Daly, IndyCar driver who's joining Alan Bestwick tonight. Alan, you better watch yourself up there. And Connor, welcome to the team, man.
It's great to have you here. I hope by that introduction you understand how welcome you are. We're really thrilled you're with us.
You know what? I appreciate that fine collage of photographs. It's an honor to be with you guys. These are some incredible racing drivers we've got here that are going racing tonight, so I appreciate being here.
Well, you said you have every one of these guys' autographs in your collection, so it'll be fun to actually watch the race. Now, by way of refresher, the SRX cars, purpose-built for this, designed by series co-founder Ray Evernham to be more of a driver's input determining the outcome than the machine engineering itself. So 700 horsepower, you had a chance to get in one of these cars, run a few laps of this speedway earlier today. What's it like for these drivers tonight?
Yes, absolutely. It was awesome to drive one of these cars. Very, very fast, a lot of horsepower, and not a very high level of grip. So a lot of these guys have driven some of these cars before, or this type of car before, but some of the guys haven't. I know the guys that I race with on a regular basis are not quite used to these cars. So it should be really interesting to see how that group meshes together.
Be a lot of fun. And what an all-star cast we've got ready to go for you you tonight. 13 drivers in our starting lineup here at Fox Flag Speedway in Pensacola. Starting order determined at random by draw, so the local all-star back again this year is four-time track champion Bubba Pollard. As you look at these 13 drivers come through, boy, do we have a crew ready to go.
Absolutely. Paul Tracy on the front row will definitely be most likely to make contact with another driver first, but everyone's excited to see that, so I know I am.
In the 13, we have 3 NASCAR Cup champions, 3 IndyCar champions, 3 Daytona 500 winners, and 3 Indianapolis 500 winners, all represented in this group of 13 drivers.
It is an incredible field. I mean, as you mentioned, I probably have 95% of these guys' autographs, and definitely their die-cast cars from my childhood. So I'm excited to talk to at least one of these guys before he gets going.
Yep.
What do you say we dial up Ryan Hunter-Reay?
First time in a stock car since 2006.
Ryan, this is Connor Daly up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Ryan, you're a first-timer here, but obviously someone who has an incredible amount of experience. What do you think about these guys that you're starting around, and what's our strategy here? Are we saving tires? Are we pushing right out the gate? What's the move?
You know, this is the first in many ways, Connor. I've never done anything like this before. The top lane's got weeds in it, and that's where I'm starting. So let's cut some grass and see what we got.
You know what? We know you love life on the top side, though. We've ran side by side at many different races before, so I have a lot of faith in you. And honestly, just watch out for Paul, and I think you'll be fine.
That's good advice, dude. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, man. Good luck tonight.
Ryan Hunter-Reay, 2014 Indianapolis 500 winner, joining SRX for this summer. So an update on the format. It's the same as last year. Timed heat races, 2 of them. 12-minute Heat 1. Lined up by random draw. The finishing order of Heat 1 determines the starting order of Heat 2. The average finish of the 2 heats combined to determine where you start the main event, which tonight is 75 laps.
Yes, and I like the format, actually, because a lot of drivers will complain about tire wear eventually. But in 12 minutes, there's not a lot of that complaining. It's really going to be guys going all out to try to make up some positions to make sure that you have a great starting spot for the final. So, and they also know that they have new tires coming at the end of these heats, I believe. So I'm excited to see how hard they go and who makes the least mistakes.
Lindsay mentioned it right off the top. Look at the conditions for these drivers tonight. It's 95 degrees. That's the outside air temperature. Track temperature, temperature inside the cars. Oh my goodness, it's a steam bath.
This might be the hottest place on the entire planet right now. I have never experienced anything like it in my life, and getting in the car earlier this morning already made me not really that jealous of these guys tonight, so I'm excited for it.
We have some great looks for you tonight. Our friends at Beverly Hills Aerials, 2 drones covering the event tonight. One of them hovering over the field right now down low, the other up high. And of course, our CBS Sports SRX crew all ready to bring you these next 6 weeks of Superstar Saturday night. 13 drivers ready to go. Heat race number 1. It's season 2 of the Superstar Racing Experience.
Paul Tracy clearly jumping the start early. I like his move.
Tracy outside the lime green car. Bubba Pollard inside trying to fight with Tracy.
Surprised Paul didn't close the door quicker on him, but Bubba's got the experience here, and I'm curious to see if he lays the bumper into Paul a little bit early on here.
He's going to look to get past. On board with Pollard, the 35-year-old from Georgia.
Now, these cars with the rear bumpers there as well definitely give the drivers almost an incentive to get in there and use them a little bit better than just pure body work. So this is a great race, though. Paul's actually giving them some room, which I kind of respect.
Scoring ticker coming across the top of the screen. The color behind the driver's name matches the color of the car they're behind the wheel of. Here's Tony Stewart in the 14, running red this year on his SRX car. And Ryan Newman, one of the newcomers, in 39.
2 absolute NASCAR legends dueling it out here. I mean, this is entertainment that I think anyone enjoys, any race fan on a Saturday night.
Asked Ryan earlier today, so what have you been doing lately? He said, race a little, farming a lot.
I love that about Ryan. I mean, obviously he's one of the most talented drivers I think that's come through the NASCAR system, and Tony Stewart is a guy that I think tonight is just going to be playing it smart. He's got a lot of experience. He knows how these cars work. He knows how these tires will fall off, and I can see him just messing around with people until later on in the night and having a run to the win.
So this is fourth place on back we're watching. The orange car is Marco Andretti. The black car is Ryan Hunter-Reay. Then you've got Tony Stewart next in line, followed by Ryan Newman, and then Bill Elliott in the purple machine. So let's hear from the other two members of our SRX broadcast team tonight. He traded in his helmet for a headset this year, but he's still a superstar to us. Here's Willie T. Ribbs. Hello, Willie.
Hey, boys. It's not hot. It is super hot. 144 degrees in the car. You know what they call that? A high-speed crock pot, right? You know what crock pot. I'm glad I'm not in it, Matt.
Well, Matt, we lost your mic. It's opening night. Give us a second. All right, a little bit back in the field. The gold car is Greg Biffle racing there with Bill Elliott for 8th and 9th place, while Paul Tracy continues to hold the lead.
I think there's been a lot more side-by-side racing than people expected. I've noticed that already Ryan Hunter-Reay's been fed the bumper in 3-4. It's getting a little bit rough out there, and that's kind of what everyone's expecting to see. But Ryan's actually pulled out quite a gap on his former teammate, Marco Andretti. So Ryan, again, solid for his first night out here at the SRX Series.
First, second, and third. Paul Tracy carrying number 3 this year, but still the lime green car. Here's Bubba Pollard looking low. Tony Kanaan right behind them. Is Pollard inside enough to keep Tracy from closing the door? No.
It's interesting because I think Bubba is doing this way less sideways than Paul Tracy is. So I'm very curious to see how that works out for Paul's tires come the end of this race.
Pollard with the left sides down below the line for the lead.
Great move there, honestly. Played that perfectly, and Tony's going to follow him right through. The bottom is clearly the place to be here if you're going to make the move, and Tony was smart. He saw the two guys in front slowing each other down. He took advantage.
TK, Tony Kanaan through into second. And with Paul Tracy, who slips back to third.
Really, the curious thing that I'm ready to see is how fast does Bubba go? Does he hold back a little bit? Does he save some in the tank for the final? I mean, this is a game of competition, but also you got to be smart. There's a lot of really incredibly talented people out here, and sometimes if you think better than some of these other guys, it might pay off come the end of the night.
And of course, there's the old "he who finishes first shall start last" from Heat 1 to Heat 2.
Yes, but all these points count. If you get a win and then you get the experience coming from the back of the pack, I actually like that a lot. I mean, winning, then going to the back to have an experience with all the other competitors and see how the other folks race. It's a great format.
Bubba Pollard is 35 years old. Given name is Andrew. He earned the ride here by having the best average finish in an April 8th and 9th twin series of races here at Five Flags Speedway, one of his home tracks. Pollard, you'll learn more about him between Heats 1 and 2, but this is a guy that has gone everywhere in the United States and won every major short track race for the class of cars he normally drives, which are called super late models. He's gone from Slinger, Wisconsin to Oxford, Maine, out to California, down here to Florida, and he's won at all of them.
Yeah, what an incredible story, and what a great shot to race with some of these, some of these guys from all across the motorsport spectrum. And I got to meet him earlier. Super nice guy, and definitely look forward to watching him race tonight. And so far, he's delivering on pretty much everyone what they thought was going to happen.
So biggest mover since the start of the race, Bobby Bonnie and Tony Stewart have picked up 2 positions apiece, while Bubba Pollard continues to be tracked by Tony Kanaan.
I think, as we talked about a little bit before the show, Bobby Labonte is going to be the sneaky snake tonight. He's going to be a guy that we might not talk about a ton, but I think he'll be at the front come the end of the final. I think he's obviously a legend, and he said to me earlier in the day, he said, "You might not know who I am." And I said, "Are you kidding me? I know exactly who you are, Bobby." And I thought that was hilarious.
That's so like Bobby, isn't it? NASCAR Hall of Famer yellow flag is out, and just as we did in Season 1 of the Superstar Racing Experience, the caution will come out in each of the heat races. I called it the fun flag. The name seems to have stuck. And we're having fun so far, early on a Saturday night here at Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola, Florida. The Superstars are back at it.
Can't forget for less at Camping World. Right now, get a new Coleman Lantern 17B, this camping starter kit, 2 years of Good Sam Road Rescue, and a 3-year Good Sam RV warranty for just $149 a month. That's less than $5 a day. Plus, we have the best selection of camping and RV supplies, starting at just $9.99. We've got an RV for every lifestyle and a payment for every budget. Camping has never been more affordable. You always camp for less at Camping World. Click, call, or come into your local Camping World today.
The next pick in the NBA draft is Johnny Davis.
The toasted cheddar chalupa is back, only at Taco Bell.
What happens when performance meets power? You try crazy things because you're crazy and you like it. You get bigger, badder, faster. You can never have too much of a good thing. And power is a very good thing.
Eliminating grays is as easy as combing your hair. With Just For Men Easy Comb in Color. Just twist and comb. Get natural looking results.
Let's get this meeting started.
Has never been easier. The most men trust Just For Men.
It's a good thing you bundled your home, auto, and RV insurance with Progressive. You save money and you get round-the-clock protection.
Don't worry, it's all under control. That's cool, we'll finish up here.
Bye.
That's why you go to the restroom before the movie starts.
Get epic protection for your Dominion with Progressive.
Camping World SRX Series back live on CBS Sports for another summer of superstars Saturday nights. Under our first caution in heat number 1, Paul Tracy led most of the opening segment of the race. Then Bubba Pollard, the local all-star, went by him and is out in front as we get ready for the restart. Great crowd here. And I'll tell you what, all credit in the world to these fans. The SRX crew, the drivers, it's hot here.
Absolutely. This is an incredible crowd. People here, I really respect them for coming out here. It's 1,000,000 degrees outside. And the sun is obviously still in the sky, which is going to be brutal for a bit. But we thank them for being out here. It's awesome.
A lot of young ones here tonight, too, which is great to see. This wonderful racetrack, known best as host of one of America's biggest short track races every December, the Snowball Derby. We'll give you our track profile in a little while as the field doubles up. Pace car driven by Randy LaJoie this year heads off, and we're back green.
And we immediately see Bubba Pollard learning from Paul Tracy into the start. Got a nice jump on the inside row, and Tony Kanaan now trying to follow in his footsteps. It's going to be great.
Kanaan second, Paul Tracy third. Brian Hunter-Ray tries to stick to the inside of Tony Stewart for fourth.
In some communities, Paul Tracy is the 2002 Indy 500 champion, but he is now fending off Tony Stewart, who is literally one of the most talented drivers, I think, in the world and of all time. And this is a great, great battle between talents.
All right, we tried it once before. Our pit crew jumped off, got it fixed. Matt Yoakum, are you there?
Hey, Amy, I'll tell you one thing. When you look at Bubba Pollard's racing resume, beyond impressive. Every crown jewel short track event in the country, he's got the trophy. So I asked him, what thread below the radar do you think will be a major storyline before the night? He goes, there's always somebody that runs in the center of the pack, saving his tires. That'll be the guy I'll have to deal with at the end of the night. And I said, well, who do you think that could be? He goes, Bobby Labonte. You watch. He's very sly. Saved his stuff. He'll be there.
Bobby's style is all that as the race for third goes side by side.
Oh, a little bit of contact yet again. I love to see it. Tony Stewart using his muscles to get Paul Tracy out of the way. This is some good stuff right here.
Bill Elliott, Bobby Labonte back here in the field. That's for 8th and 9th, and a car looping around. That's Ernie Francis Jr. And
we saw him and Michael Waltrip going side by side for almost 4 corners in a row, so there must have been some contact going on there.
I do not see the caution flag. We stay under green. Just
That's
a half a
SRX
minute
racing
left.
right there.
Yeah, well, you know, he got it going. What happened to Ernie Francis Jr.?
Oh, the classic pit maneuver, as some would say. Helio Castroneves trying to slide in late on Ernie Francis Jr. We've seen that before, and we'll see it again in this championship. But, yeah, tough to see for Ernie this early.
So Francis Jr. continues on, but will drop to the end of the field. Of course, that'll give him the pole position for heat number 2. But you wonder about if he scuffed up those tires in that spin. So we'll see. So clock expires on that, and then there's the checkered flag, having a little radio communication difficulty down to the starter. I saw him looking back over his shoulder, kind of with his hands up in the air back at the control tower like, I can't hear you. Well, they were saying, put the checkers out. Clock has expired on heat number 1, and Bubba Pollard has won it. All right, we're feeling the effects of the heat here at Five Flag Speedway, or maybe it's just the announcer being silly. I don't know.
Camping World SRX Series on CBS Sports is sponsored by Progressive. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. And by Camping World. Camp for less with Camping World.
So heat 1 here in steamy but beautiful Pensacola is in the books. Let's take a look at the results of heat 1. And it was local racer Bubba Pollard using his edge to his advantage. He takes the heat, the first heat, followed by Tony Kanaan and Tony Stewart. This is a racetrack that folks tell you has a personality all its own. They've been racing here since 1953. For more now on the history of this spot, we turn now to our Progressive at the track.
Very few people who are involved in racing don't know about Five Flag Speedway.
Pensacola's got a lot to offer. It's got the best beaches around. It is the home to the Navy's Blue Angels. It's still in some ways a sleepy southern town. It's a beach town, so you have all these different elements that really mix together nicely.
Pensacola has a rich racing tradition. I mean, some of the top names in racing history have come to this very city. I mean, you name it, Earnhardt, Petty, all these guys come through Five Flag Speedway.
The track is not symmetrical. Actually, each turn is different as far as the radius of the turn and the banking of the turn.
Some of the most difficult aspects of trying to win here at Five Flag Speedway is the surface. I mean, if you're not experienced, if you don't take care of your equipment, if you don't take care of your tires, it's going to be a challenge for you. The Snowball Derby is one of the richest sporting events for our community. Snowball Derby was started 55 years ago by Tom Dawson.
He wanted a big race to cap off the season, and so he started the Snowball Derby. It was going to be the first weekend in December of 1968 when nobody else was racing anywhere in the country.
So he got a few of his friends together. He said, hey, come down to Florida, let's race down here. And he got a few NASCAR names to get it going, and it has grown significantly over the past 10, 15 years to a level that is truly unbelievable.
So that's the skinny from the people that know this track, but a lot of these guys really don't. So they're taking the education into their own hands, so to speak. Marco Andretti is one of them. He showed us how he's been paying a visit to his good friend, fellow racer Sage Karam's house, who happens to be a neighbor, just to be able to borrow his simulator. They did it this week, trying to get his head wrapped around this very track, guys.
So where do you want to go? Five Flags. We're racing this weekend. All right. Should be good. I think it's very useful, especially in situations like this with new tracks, and we're trying to replicate the grip level that it's going to be, which I've heard is very low at Pensacola. It seems like concrete, and it just seems like there's going to be a lot of tire degradation, so I think really taking care of your stuff for the first 2/3 of the race is going to be important to have something underneath you at the end. One thing I learned last year the hard way is I'd go out and win a heat race and be like, oh shoot, I was too fast that race. So then by the end of the feature, I had no tires left. What I'm noticing already here is you go faster the slower you go, if that makes any sense. You have to roll. In IndyCar, there's almost no roll speed. You're doing something with one pedal or the other, and so here you get rewarded for under-driving a car and rolling, which a Marco Andretti style is not very good at, but that's what I'm working on.
I don't know about you, but I think Sage Karam should get a cut if Marco happens to win. The streaming wars bring South Park to the brink of disaster. South Park, the streaming wars, now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus. Coming up here on the show, it's the second heat, but first, wait until you see and hear what the dynamic duo of drivers Tony Stewart and Paul Tracy are up to now.
Well, I've always been into the go fast stuff, and this is the only thing that gives me the same thrill and adrenaline rush as a race car. And you know, your boat goes 38. This one idles at 38.
I know.
So you're going to get a much different experience.
Surf behind this one now.
Hey everyone, Helio Castroneves is here, and I wish you a happy Father's Day to everyone out there, including my dad.
You know, I'd like to take this time to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there in the country today.
Well, I want to say Happy Father's Day to my dad, Bob Lamani. Thank you so much for being a great father.
And I want to say Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there watching.
Here's wishing a Happy Father's Day to my dad and to all the dads out there.
Just want to say Happy Father's Day to my dad, Nelson, and all the other fathers out there. Hope you guys enjoy the day.
Yes, and a happy early Father's Day. Family, such an important part of racing. We are ready to get back on track for Heat 2. Adjustments have been made, and now we send it back up to Alan Bestwick and Connor Daly. Guys, what are you expecting to see in this heat?
Lindsay, first as we look at the starting lineup, we're expecting to see Bubba Pollard come from the back, as far as I'm concerned, and a couple of guys who made quick trips to pit road under the yellow flag. They're feeling things out.
Well, they hit Marco Andretti's car with the big hammer they had in the garage, and I'm not really sure why, but usually that means it'll go faster. So I'm curious to see how that affects it, and it also means that he looks like he is starting from the back. So Marco and Bubba Pollard will be two guys that I look forward to seeing go through the field really in this heat.
Ernie Francis came down, they jacked the car up, did an inspection under his car, but just sent him back on his way, and he will start on pole position. Remember, the field inverted from the finish from Heat 1. Marco's radio intercepted a moment ago.
Why did you take that long to call me in? You're sitting there.
Yikes. I've been there before. I know how that goes.
The person who knows the least of what's going on sometimes externally is the one behind the wheel strapped to the car, right?
Well, let me tell you something. It's never the driver's fault. Coming from a driver, I can promise you that. It's always something else. And you know what? Marco's got a fight in front of him, but I can't wait to see him come through the field. Marco's a great racer, and I'm excited.
Heat race number 2, 12 minutes in length. Field inverted from the finish of Heat 1. Ernie Francis Jr. in the blue car leads him to the green with Helio Castroneves to the outside, the two that tangled to bring out the yellow flag in Heat 1.
Yes, indeed. And Ernie made sure to make quick work of Helio there, and Helio went straight to the defensive. So I can understand that. You don't want to, oh, man, that was wild.
Francis hanging on. And so Castroneves will go through to the race lead. Maybe that little spin around from Francis damaged those tires a little bit more than he was ready for.
Might have had a bit of just a bit of smoke coming off those tires. He was sliding so fast there into 3.
So Castroneves leads. Michael Waltrip is second. And for third now, Francis Jr. kind of has the field bottled up behind him a little bit. Greg Biffle's in the gold car. Bill Elliott is in purple.
You know what's really interesting about that for Ernie, though, as well, is that was one spin, right? And these guys are going to be sliding these tires all night. So later on in the final, that's a big telltale sign for me because he is really struggling. That thing is all over the place. It looks like he's on a wet track compared to a dry track with all these guys.
You watch that front tire on Francis Jr.'s car as he goes through the corner. He's driving it like it's an open-wheel dirt car as he's passed on both sides by Kanan and Biffle. Yeah. Let's check back in with Matt Yoakum.
Alan, a big change in fortune for Helio Castroneves. Due to the invert, he was starting up front. He was mired back in the back. The biggest challenge, he could not get his car to turn in the corner. having that clean air up front should change the balance of his race car and make it go from a really wicked tight car much more neutral and get an idea what changes to make at the brake.
That's a look from the visor cam of the four-time Indianapolis 500 winner, Helio Castroneves.
Helio's a strong leader. We saw that last year during the Indy 500. Once he got to the front, he was never going to surrender that lead. So I'm not surprised by this. It is very interesting, though, how you go from running dead last and then immediately pulling away from the pack. It just goes to show you how important this
straightaway back to the pack.
Are you saying he might have been strategic and kind of pacing himself in Heat 1?
Helio's always strategic. He's old and smart.
He's got Michael Waltrip chasing it.
Michael Waltrip as well. I think he's got to be excited to be back up front because he was battling with Ernie Francis wheel to wheel for like 12th place, and that's what's so fun about these reverse grid races. I think it's great to see just a couple guys that were struggling earlier now having a great time leading out front.
So here's the race from 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Bill Elliott in the purple car, Ryan Newman right behind him, and then Bobby Labonte in the white car.
12-year-old me is extremely excited because I see Bobby Labonte, Bill Elliott, and Ryan Newman battling it out, and Greg Biffle in the number 69 machine. So you know he loves to party, and that's a great Group 4 right there.
Bill Elliott here, won one of 2 SRX Series races he'll compete in this year. The NASCAR Hall of Famer said he came here so many times with his son Chase over the years, as Chase, now a champion himself, was working his way up through the racing ranks. And so that's why he wanted to come and run this race. Where is Chase? Well, Chase is here. He served as pilot to fly his dad in for the race this time. He said, Dad's done that for me a lot lately.
What I enjoyed about seeing Chase down there as well is that looked like he was doing a little driver coaching. I'm not sure how that works, but there was a lot of tip trading and some great chatter between the family there on Father's Day weekend.
Pressure from Ryan Newman on Bill Elliott. Waltrip 4, while Castroneves and Michael Waltrip continue to run 1 and 2. This for 3rd place. Yeah, I mentioned Bill Elliott and Chase Elliott. Talking to Bill this morning. The Nashville race that ended our SRX season last year, where the 2 raced together for a lot of the night. Bill said that was one of the most special atmospheres and special nights he's had in the sport. And you think about all the special days and special nights Bill Elliott had in auto racing, that says a lot for what his experience was like.
Absolutely. What a cool deal for him to be able to race against Chase. And, Bill clearly has not lost the skills. he may be more experienced than Chase, but he knows what he's doing, and he's out there battling with some of the best in the world right now. 66 years old is Bill Elliott, Matt, and he's out there running 3rd.
And you mentioned his son Chase, who's not only a NASCAR champion, but a snowball derby winner. And we were just talking about nuances of racing, but the problem is I can give him some advice for particular parts of the track, but it has changed so much. The front stretch has a new grip of asphalt, so that's going to be different coming off the corner when the car finally takes flight. The track is a little bit different off too, so there are some changes that can give him overall help, but at the end of the day, it's almost apples to oranges from when I scored my trophy.
Yeah, sure. Bill himself has raced here before, but he said it was way back in the late 80s. So a few things have changed since then too. Here's Ryan Newman with a look under Bill Elliott.
Oh, man, just almost there at the left rear corner. Bill gave him a little bit of room there, but just squeezed him enough to where Ryan had to rethink it.
Ernie Francis Jr. has come to pit road. This is Tony Stewart and Paul Tracy. Oops.
Yep, that's about exactly how it should be done here. I respect Smoke for the way he got by there, and not too much contact to make people very angry, but just enough to let Paul know, see you later.
Tony back in 10th place. Paul Tracy is in 11th. Here are 1st and 2nd. Still Helio Castroneves and Michael Waltrip.
You know what's great about having these guys are thankful for Ernie Francis Jr. right now because he separated the entire field from the rest of them. And I guarantee those guys probably just out there saving tires, just relaxing because they know that they're going to have this fun flag coming out here in a little bit. They got to push the end and fight off all the rest of these guys who have been battling at the back.
Michael Waltrip, his 2nd year in the SRX Series. Best finish a year ago was a 5th place run. He's got more. Remember one of the, whoa, there's a nice save by Michael. Remember one of the issues, Michael's so tall that his feet were kind of cramped in the car. Well, the SRX gang jumped on it, and he's got a little more foot space in his machine this year as the caution comes out in heat race number 2. So at the midway point of our second of 2 heat races tonight here in steamy Pensacola, Elio Castroneves is the race leader.
You see, son, with a little elbow grease, you can do just about anything.
Thanks, Dad.
That's right, Robert. And it's never too early to learn you could save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
That's right, Jamie. But it's not just about savings. It's about the friends we make along the way.
You said it, Flo. And don't forget to floss before you brush. Your gums will thank you.
That's right, Dr. Gary.
Jamie?
Sorry, I had another thought, so I got back in line.
What was it?
I can't remember.
COVID-19. Some people get it, and some people can get it bad. And for those who do get it bad, it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, asthma, or smoking. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, don't wait. Ask your healthcare provider right away if an authorized oral treatment is right for you.
The delicious Domino's pizza you're looking at is actually yesterday's leftover Domino's pizza. How'd we do it? Simple. We took it fresh out of a Domino's oven. We put it in a Domino's box, put the box in a Domino's bag, put that bag in a Domino's car, drove that car to Stacy's house, rang her doorbell, delivered her pizza. Then we kind of did nothing all night, came back in the morning and used her leftovers to get this perfect shot.
Say what? You made a Domino's commercial with my leftovers? Can you clean up this kitchen while you're at it?
We don't know where things go. So get 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas delivered for $6.99 each. Enjoy one tonight, love one tomorrow.
So, people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
Camping World SRX Series back for season number 2, and we're 3 minutes to go in heat race number 2 tonight at 5 Flag Speedway in Pensacola. And under the caution flag with Elio Castroneves, the leader. Ernie Francis Jr.'s car is on the pit lane. He got lapped after starting heat race number 2 as the race leader. And Matt has more.
And Ernie, you talked over things with the car with Ryan McKinney. So an incident with Elio Castroneves. The car did not feel good after that point. Something amiss?
Yeah, you know, we were kind of struggling since the start of the heats before this spin, actually. Car just didn't feel the same. I don't know if just weather conditions down to that. Made a few changes from the practice to the race, and didn't seem to work out too well. After the hit, I don't know, something felt weird in the rear. I'm not sure what was up with it. Just couldn't get into the turns at all. We'll keep wanting to come around on me. So brought it in to see what they can figure out and try and get back out there for the future.
Alan?
All right, Matt, thanks. As the field pulls up for the restart, so they'll either repair that car or put Ernie in one of the backup cars for the main event.
Yes, and Ernie's a very talented driver, so it's, you know, when he was falling off that much, there's always something broken in the car because, you know, drivers just don't all of a sudden forget how to drive. I can promise you that.
All right, here we go for the restart. Green flag with Castroneves, Waltrip, Newman, and Elliott, the top 4. Between those 4 Indy 500 wins and 5 Daytona 500 wins, and they're all in the top 4 for the restart.
So you're telling me they're successful, huh? That seems about right.
I'm telling you, they're superstars. We're on brand here, you know?
Yes, and I raced with Elio just last weekend, so he's still up there trying to add to his trophy case. And
are you still mad at him?
I am a little cross with Elio still, but that's okay. You know what? These things happen, and we will move on to the next one. Also, he has 4 Indy 500 rings, and I have a mullet, so realistically, there's not much I can compare to him.
Well said.
You notice who's moved up through the field pretty well? Bubba Pollard.
The local all-star in the patriotic car, Bubba Pollard.
He's been sneaking up through the field, and he's now on the back of Tony Kanaan, and I think he's going to be one to watch. I mean, there's still a couple minutes, well, actually only a couple seconds left in this race, but still, if you get a win and probably pass 5 or 6 cars, that's a good point total, I'd say, for the final starting grid coming up later.
Bubba Pollard's family runs a racetrack in Sonoya, Georgia, 3/8 mile dirt track. They race on Saturday nights. They were supposed to have a race tonight. And then Bubba got the spot in the SRX race here. They canceled the racing tonight at Sonoya, and all of his family and friends and about half the track workers that would normally be working up there are here tonight watching him race against the superstars.
Well, you know what? That's what we love about motor racing. That's, you know, an incredible event like this. Bring the family out Father's Day weekend, have a shot to go beat Helio Castroneves, Michael Waltrip, Bill Elliott, Ryan Newman, guys like that. I mean, it's what an awesome night.
And you're racing against the guy right now, Tony Kanaan, who just came off a top finish at the Indianapolis 500.
Don't remind me.
On Memorial Day weekend. Well, you know.
Tony is an incredibly accomplished driver. I mean, my gosh, he is just an Indy 500 champion, IndyCar Series champion, and now looking for an SRX championship maybe this year.
White flag out in our second heat race. By the way, TK finished on the podium in the Indianapolis 500, finished third in that race. So it is Castroneves to turns 3 and 4 with a comfortable lead over Michael Waltrip. Helio Castroneves will take his third heat race win in SRX competition over last season in this. Over Waltrip, Newman, Elliott, and Bobby Labonte.
Someone take a picture of that top 6 because that average age might be older than me, that's for sure, and I respect that.
Yes, Helio, you did it. So Castroneves has gone into victory lane in heat race number 2, the main event coming up from Pensacola shortly.
Welcome back to the Camping World SRX series on CBS. So we're through now with Heat 2, and as you heard, it's the veterans that ended up on top. Leading the way, it was Helio Castroneves, followed by Michael Waltrip. You see the leaderboard here, Ryan Newman coming in third. These guys all talking about just how hot it is. So this is when that really, really starts to weigh on them. Matt Yoakum standing by with Helio Castroneves. Yoakum?
Well, Lindsay, he was first across the finish line, and you were the first driver to get out of the car. Has this been the hottest you've ever been inside of a race car?
Yes. Well, this is one of the closest. In 2006, I had 1,000 miles in Brazil that I had no strength. Here, I still have strength, but they were like, one more lap. I was like, no. If I got to go to the next one, I got to recoup. So throw a little water, a little ice here, which is helping. My goodness, man, it's like 150 inside that car. But 06 machine was great. Once we got to the lead, I was like, whoa, my car just went really good. I apologize for Francis. I was right beside, sort of like in here. He just turned too quick. I feel bad. But in the end of the day, it's tough out there, man. It's tough out there with the competitors, with the heat. But we keep it going.
All right, he's got ice packs right here. He's got them down his back. They're going to put more there to get him cooled off for the feature, Willie. A lot of action coming up.
I got 2 bad cats here that are hot right now. Reigning SRX champion Tony Stewart, 2-time Daytona 500 winner Michael Waltrip. Tell me about the heat.
Well, cat's right, but it's in the wrong context. I'll take the other context to cat. That's what I feel like right now. But it's hot, man. I mean, we started the race 100 degrees out here, and it's Florida. It's not Arizona that's dry, so it's hot out there right now. But man, these cars are fun. I mean, Stremme and Kenny Schrader did an awesome job setting these things up. I mean, we all are fighting a little something different, but I think a lot of times is our driving styles and what we do with our feet. So, it's just a matter of figuring it out, and we'll figure out how many laps, green flag laps we ran there, and then we got to figure out how to make them go 75 next.
Glad you, not me. Tell me about it, champ.
I tell you this, Willie, treadmill shape doesn't compare to short track shape. These guys that race Saturday night on short tracks across America, side by side, beating and banging, they're your heroes. It's tough work, man, and I had a car that I was really happy with, but I just didn't drive it right. It's been a year since I've been behind the wheel, and I just got to do better. I saw what Helio was doing. He was just driving like a granny up off the corner, and I'd get excited when I'd get to him and give it too much gas. So I just need to be better behind the wheel and look forward to the next 75 or whatever it is.
You're driving like a granny. I want to see the young granny.
Well, I am old. I just reminded him. He said, I'm too over this. I said, I had about 10 years of that. See how you feel.
All right. Great job, gentlemen.
Willie T, thank you so much. Tony Stewart, by the way, one of the guys that said, ask me after this race how we did with all this heat, so you're getting a great glimpse of it right there. Matt Yoakum is one of the guys that we send all over the country so that he can tell and share the stories, the behind-the-scenes stories of these drivers. But I think it might have been one of his most challenging assignments, getting 2 of the most feisty drivers out on the water.
That thing take up any more room here on the lake?
It's similar colors, but mine's a lot bigger. Good to see you.
Doing the same thing. We're all going to get out and get wet today.
I know. It's a perfect day out today. We never raced each other our whole careers. Mine started before yours in IndyCar, and then I was watching Tony on Thursday Night Thunder. I'd be watching him and Jeff Gordon. There's a lot of parallels between me and Tony. I think the one thing is that we both race our competitors really, really hard. We don't give anybody any quarter. If you're going to get past us, you're going to have to work. And when we're coming up behind you, people start worrying when you're in their mirror. So I think you're probably one of the guys that I've always wanted to race, because I think there would have been a lot of fireworks if we were running each other.
Yeah, I think one thing between the two of us is we have a filter, it's just really small.
My PR person could never control what was going to come out of my mouth.
My PR person, he's got more gray hair than I have, and I'm about 8 years older than he is, so I've put all of them on his head for sure.
For Penske, I mean, he never had a problem with me if I crashed a car or wrecked in a race. It was, sure he'd be a little bit upset about it, but I think one time I got out of the car and I said the car was a POS, and that got me fired the last time from him. So I'm one of the only guys that's driven for Penske, gotten fired, and then asked to come back, and then gotten fired again.
I think on Coach's side, he was probably, he probably had more Monday morning damage than anything, having to deal with something that I said. I mean, he didn't have a problem with crashing cars. That was part of pushing the edge and getting the most out of our cars. But I think I probably gave him the most heartburn on Monday mornings for what I said after the races on Sunday.
I'm sure I made lots of mistakes. I crashed lots of cars. I said some things I shouldn't have said. But at the end of the day, it brings you to where you're at now. So, I mean, we're both where we are because of who we are. And that's, I don't think I would change anything. Well, I've always been into the go fast stuff, and this is the only thing that gives me the same thrill and adrenaline rush as a race car. And your boat goes 38. This one idles at 38.
I know.
So you're gonna get a much different experience.
Can't surf behind this one now.
Almost 170, but it takes after 150, you get to the point where the underwing of this thing starts packing air, and then it starts flying.
God, I hope we don't go 160 today.
I'll let you drive.
A great display of brotherhood there on Lake Havasu, but also right here on pit lane as Leo Castroneves was over here. You were sharing your ice and trying to help out your compadre. The biggest thing about you for 2022, you've documented it, you want to be there at the finish of a shot. Combo platter tonight, not only are you battling these guys, but you're also battling the heat. How are you going to make it last?
I tell you what, it's so hot in the car right now. I mean, when you see a guy like Helio with his experience, the amount of races he's won in hot weather, Indianapolis, when he gets out of the car, he after an IndyCar race, it looks like his hair hasn't been touched. And he is, I mean, that shows you how hot it is out here. And it's brutal out here at Five Flags. Car started off pretty good. I made a good start for a little while, and then the tires started to go off. I was spinning the tires off the corner. I couldn't get the drive off. So we're going to tighten it up and see what happens. But we've got to survive the heat.
It's all about location, location, location. He picked a good one for the break right in front of a massive fan, Willie, right here on pit lane.
I got Big Bubba Pollard here, and he looks fresh. I mean, in this heat, 144 degrees in the car, and you were smooth and fast. Tell me what you're going to do.
Well, we had a decent race car there. Was able to get out front and ride a little bit for that next heat race. And man, just when we took off there really good and clean air, and the more we ran there back in traffic, we got super free. And I feel like I was faster than those guys, but I couldn't carry no momentum in the corner. I was just super free on the entry. So we're going to do a wedge adjustment, air pressure, spring rubber. We're going to pretty much max it out right here. And if I can just get in on the entry good, I think we can make a run for us. So feel pretty good about it. We just hopefully we get a good starting spot here and we make something of it.
Well, you got about 5,000 miles here, so if anybody knows how to set it up, it's Bubba.
Well, I appreciate it. It's super hot, man. I just, hopefully we don't want to fall out of the seat when we make it to the end.
All right, babe. Good
Thank
job.
you.
Willie T bringing the charm. No one would know he's new to this broadcasting, right? Well, I want to bring back in Matt Yoakum right now because Yoakum had time to talk to one of the newest stars in this series right here. And we know, Yoakum, that you fished. You went out on a boat. So the question is, did you catch anything?
Anytime you get a chance to go out on the ocean, it's a magical day. And for Ryan Hunter-Reay, myself and two of his elementary school buddies, we had a fantastic day. Yes, we caught 2 30-pound plus tuna, also some mahi-mahi, but I also caught a great glimpse of why Ryan Hunter-Reay is such a championship driver. How he is grounded. The blinders are on, yes, when he's on the racetrack, and that is day job. But when he breaks away, the guys that keep him grounded are his buddies from elementary school. Yep, the kids on the block.
Just growing up in South Florida, kind of lived on the water and go boating with my dad. And as I was growing up with my friends, you know, we were 13 years old, out on the boat by ourselves, you know, fishing, and it just grew into a passion for us.
Hey, guy. Morning send-off. Tradition.
I really love being out there in that purplish blue water and having a real sense of appreciation for what you're surrounded by.
Definitely the most unique form of fishing, kite fishing. What I love about it is, you know, when the fish does hit it, you see it happen. The fish comes out of the water. It's just a lot of action, chaos, within a short amount of time. So it's really fun fishing. Yeah, Lanning, thank you for the opening.
It's funny because a lot of people, when I tell them I'm going fishing, they picture, you know, being on a lake with my worm and my, you know, line. It's quite a bit different.
Oh, nice fish.
I mean, you get that huge adrenaline rush because you don't know what's on the other end of the line. So you have this feeling like, okay, here's a huge opportunity, but you also have like, oh man, if I blow this, if this rod goes from being bent over to straight up, you know, that is the worst feeling you can imagine while fishing.
There you go. Yeah, nice.
It's been the same group since we were, you know, super young. Really, it's a team effort. I mean, you see today, it's constantly working all angles, all that stuff, the stuff that we've worked out over years, and it just kind of goes without talking or communication.
Yeah. Woo! And we got another one.
Being able to go out there and do something like that, get that escape, get that blow off of steam, and enjoy yourself, and then actually bring food home with it, and the food that, you know, is the most expensive at the grocery store, yeah, that's great. As I say every time I'm on the boat with them, I'm like, my kids are hungry, we better bring home something.
All in a day's work for Ryan Hunter-Reay. Oh, here you go. Here's Yoakum and Ryan Hunter-Reay there. What they say, 2 30-pound fish. There's half the proof right there. All right, Wednesday, July 6th, expect the unexpected when Big Brother returns with all new house guests and all new drama. It's the new season of Big Brother beginning Wednesday, July 6th on CBS. Now we're going to send it back down to our Willie T, who has a special guest. Willie?
I got awesome from Dawson here. His name is the legend Bill Elliott. I mean, you look good. I mean, you're the oldest guy here, and you act like you're 26, not 66.
I'm definitely the oldest guy here by a lot. You know, and the bad thing about it, it's hard to compete with these guys that compete competitively every week. And that's what's hard to get around your head. But I'm telling you, I love this stuff. I mean, this is, you know, you grow up doing this stuff, and I've been down here a lot with Chase over the last number of years. And to get out here and run this racetrack and run with these legendary drivers, it's what else could you be doing on Saturday night?
Well, you're one of the legendary on a Saturday night, right?
Okay.
Saturday Night Live, baby.
All right, there you go. But no, it's great. You know, learning a lot, trying to decide what I want to do out of the car. I mean, I need a little something, but it's hard to put my finger on exactly what I need. And you know, it's just, you get to somebody and you think you can get by them, but man, it's a lot of effort and a lot of work to pass, and it's just like, man, I just got to kind of figure this out and get a little better, and hopefully in the race here, in a long race, we can be better off at the end.
Yeah, well, Pollard had said to me, when he got in traffic, it freed the car up, and it was a little bit harder to pass. So, but you don't seem like you're having any issues.
Well, I have my days, but hey, we miss you out here. Wish you were here. Glad at least you're here in this capacity.
Better you than me.
Okay. Well, up here farther on the grid, Marco Andretti, he's got his helmet on. He's getting ready to get back in the car, talking to Charlie Langstein there, one of the car chiefs here at SRX. And Marco told me he has never been this hot in a race car. Now, remember, he took the win at Slinger a year ago in Wisconsin, looking for another really hot bull ring victory, but he has Gatoraded up, he is watered up, waiting to go back in. Real quick, how are you going to save yourself for this feature?
We made some adjustments for the rear, but I think us IndyCar drivers go pretty loose. Ryan and I were talking anyway. I was pushing too hard to make up the positions they made me give up there. They called me in to fix damage and then made me restart at the back, so I lost a lot of track position.
All right. Good luck, Willie.
Gregory, how was the heat? How you feeling? What did the car do for you?
Well, I mean, everybody's complaining about the heat. Of course, it's hot, but, it's what we signed up for. But car's really, really loose. Loose in, loose on the gas. It was really hard to drive, so I was working extra hard in here. And then something happened to Francis and ran me all the way to the back of that top lane. I couldn't get down, and something was wrong with his car, really, really loose. So see what we can do in this main event.
Your guys made some changes to remedy that?
Yeah, we put a bunch of wedge in it, rubber in the left rear, so we'll see if we got some drive off now. Plus the temperature's coming down, so track's going to change. We'll see what happens.
It is hot here. There's no temperature coming down anywhere here.
Yeah, I'm just wishing.
All right, have a good one.
All right, Willie T. So two things that they've talked about having in common, the fact that a lot of these cars are loose, and also these drivers are all feeling really overheated in the Pensacola sun that does not feel much cooler as this sun goes down. We've got much more coming your way with the Camping World SRX Series as we continue. You're looking now at the fans waiting for the main event here at Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola, Florida, as we welcome you back to the Camping World SRX Series on CBS. So, over the next 6 weeks, the Camping World SRX Series is going to cover more than 3,200 miles. For a sense, that's sort of like driving from New York to Los Angeles. So it's lots of ground to cover, which begins here in Pensacola and will wrap up on dirt at Sharon Speedway, which is home to the famous Blaney racing family. We cannot wait for that. Wait to watch the family showdown between NASCAR driver Ryan Blaney and his legendary father, Dave. So next Saturday, we are in South Boston, Virginia. Famous, you should know, for fried bologna sandwiches and great racing. That, of course, all starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. We asked you earlier in our poll which driver you believe is going to win the main event. You told us on Twitter you believe it's going to be the local legend, Bubba Pollard. We saw Bubba finishing strong in that first heat. He was the leader. Second heat, not so much, but Bubba knows this track better than anybody else. So an astounding 47% saying that Bubba Pollard is going to get the win tonight in the main event, followed by Tony Stewart, Helio Castroneves, and Tony Kanaan. So as we get closer to the main event, we'll go now back up to the booth to Alan Bestwick and Connor Daly. And Connor, you were saying before how you thought the IndyCar drivers might have an edge because of just running in the 500. Do you still think that's the case?
Honestly, with how terrible these guys look down there right now, I don't know who's got the best shot. It just goes to show you, though, I think one of the most common debates for people that don't understand motorsports is, are drivers athletes? And you're like, absolutely. I mean, without a doubt, these cars are very hard to drive. Your heart rate's at maximum all the time because it's dangerous. It's very challenging. It's very competitive. The physical side, people just don't really understand. I can't tell you to go out on the highway right now, get in whatever you're driving and drive down the interstate at 100 and whatever it is mile an hour, trying to go side by side with a bunch of other, Daytona 500 winners, Indy 500 winners. So the heat just adds to it all as well. I know right now in the IndyCar for sure, it's definitely some of the hottest races that we've ever been through. And once you get to a point where your heart rate, you're past what you normally compete at, and you're starting to feel that heat exhaustion, it's very hard. It's hard mentally because you kind of realize, like Elio said, he's like, I don't want to go one more lap. I can't do it. It's very, very difficult on the body, and I got to respect these guys right now for being out there doing it.
All right, let's check downstairs on pit road with Matt Yoakum.
Not a lot of work going on right now. Pretty much everything is getting ready. Window nets are going up. A lot of work went on for Ernie Francis Jr. We documented the issues with his race car. It ended up being a broken steering rack. They have gone to the backup car. What they've also done, Jamie Tomato Jr., the interior specialist for SRX, he has helped transfer over a lot of the driver cooling devices. You can see, now there's a hose like this that will go to his helmet. They have moved all that type of apparatus inside this race car. They've also gone with a bigger NACA duct on the right side window, up by the windshield. Much bigger opening than they ran for the first part of this race, trying to direct more air into the driver. As Dave Stolen, my camera guy, can kind of come around, you can see it's about twice the size, just trying to grab as much air. Even though it's ambient air, it is cooler air being pushed through into the cockpit. A lot of things happening in a short amount of time down here on pit lane, getting ready to go green here shortly for the feature.
Yeah, and Matt will add that part of the reason we haven't restarted the cars already is the pace car has had a problem dealing with some heat, apparently. And so they're going to use one of the AMR safety trucks that pace car driver Randy LaJoie will get behind the wheel of to pace the field for our main event tonight. So when we tell you it's hot, don't come back with the standard, how hot is it? It's just hot tonight, especially when you're inside the 140-something degree cockpit of a race car.
Heat is the ultimate enemy for race cars, for tires, for drivers, and it's interesting you show the little air vents that come in, right? We have a similar helmet vent on the IndyCar, and people think, oh, does that actually give you any air? If I was honest with you, I would say absolutely not. Yeah. But when it's off, you actually can feel that you're missing the air that you do get from that hose.
So you're seeing the starting grid coming across the bottom of the screen. That poll that showed a lot of folks thought Bubba Pollard would win the race, they didn't even know yet he'd be starting on the pole by virtue of his average finish between the two heats. So the local all-star will lead him to the green here shortly. You have the radio microphone in your hand.
Yes, I think we're going to try to dial up Tony Kanaan, who he basically said to me before the race, ask me anything you want, whenever you want, wherever you want. And so here we go. Tony Kanaan, this is Connor Daly up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Tony, so far I think you've been my sneaky favorite for the win. You've been putting in 2 solid heat races. How is the car going off, and what do you think is going to be the key to making these tires last?
Well, I think the key is going to be to take it, really easy, not sliding in the first half of the race, which is going to be tough, and trying to stay in the front. If you try, to pass the guy or somebody passes you on the inside, you get hung on the outside, you can lose 3 or 4 positions. That is going to be hard to recoup. But so far the car felt good. A little bit of oversteer for the whole race, but let's see, maybe with the night coming down, it might help. But it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight.
I won't ask you about the heat yet because everyone's been asking, and I know that it's absolutely terrible. So give us at least the top 2 people that you might not like already tonight, and who are your enemies?
Actually, I haven't made any so far, so I don't want to jinx it, so I'm not going to say anything. So far, so good. So talk to me after 75 laps.
I might talk to you after 35 laps. We'll see what happens. Good luck, man.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, anytime, man. Keep me company. I feel lonely out here.
Tony's an absolute legend, obviously. He knows what's going on. And you know what? Let us dial up another driver as well. Should we speak to Bobby Labonte? I think I certainly would love to talk to Bobby Labonte.
Well, you've got the radio microphone. What are you looking at me for?
Well, look, we're trying to dial him up. These things take time, all right? He's waving at it. He's not waving at me. Bobby Labonte, it's Connor Daly up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, man. How's it going?
Well, we know you're sweating down there, but what's going to be the key for the long haul here? I think you were my pick as a sneaky favorite. Where are we going next here?
Yeah, well, I had about 5 guys talking at the same time to me, but yeah, I think, obviously track position is important. It's hard to get off the bottom. I think if you got to take care of your tires, and I think when we get to the end, you're going to see guys making some pretty aggressive moves, but I don't think you want to wear out your tires here the first 15 laps.
Do you have anyone right now who is on your enemy list? Are there any competitors that have done you wrong so far, and what's our plan to get them back?
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm keep my eyes open for a few of them, but I really haven't had anybody make me mad yet. How's that?
All right, well, good luck, man. Have a great run.
Thanks.
Everyone's being real politically safe right now. It's no one's throwing any heat at anyone.
Well, there's plenty of time for that to change because we're just getting ready for the main event. Beautiful look at Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola, Florida, as we give you our progressive race analysis. Bubba Pollard, Helio Castroneves split the heat wins. IndyCar drivers have done a lot of the leading tonight, thanks to Castroneves and Paul Tracy, who led a lot of heat number 1. And it is the first time in our now almost 7-race-old SRX history that no NASCAR driver led any lap in the first 2 heats. How about that?
That is very interesting, yes, and I think all these drivers are thanking everything holy that the sun has gone down, and so it'll be very interesting to see how that changes the tires, how that changes the track. We saw so many drivers make so many adjustments to the cars. I was actually fascinated to hear that Bubba Pollard threw the entire kitchen sink at the car for adjustments, so I'm very curious to see how that works. And it looks awfully dark into Turn 1. I've raced at night before here, and it looks awfully dark into Turn 1, so that'll be entertaining.
All right, quick update from Matt Yoakum.
And Connor, you talk a lot about the hoses and how you direct the airflow. Now, Tony Stewart, he went old school, and his hose that comes in from the right side actually comes across his fire suit and goes into the zipper portion to try to get some air to flow through that fire suit. He took that suggestion, gave it to Helio Castroneves. Castroneves didn't like the fire suit idea, but liked moving the hose to come in at the back of the neck. And remember, he was the one that probably got overheated one of the most here. So most everybody has it going in through the top of the helmet.
Yeah, dealing with the heat. Been a story of the day here. Today's high temperature set a record for this date in Pensacola, Florida, as far back as they keep those records. So it's been a warm one. As the sun finally, though, starts to head down, maybe we'll get a little bit of relief for these drivers as our superstars go through our 75-lap main event.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be, I mean, we only just went through 2 heat races. I mean, we got a full main event in front of us. So this is when we're really going to see who's been focusing most on being on their boats in the spring, or who's been focused on being on in the gym.
All right, 1 lap to go before the restart. Quickly with Willie.
Hey, with 1 lap to go, gentlemen, I talked to Bubba Pollard earlier this afternoon. He says at night you can run up top. You can have 2 grooves here. So you're going to see side-by-side racing now. When the track temperature was hotter, you had single file. Now they're going to lay down the lumber tonight, right now.
Yeah, they'll be doubling them up and getting ready to go for the main event. So, by a refresher, field set from the average finishing position of the 2 heat races. So it'll be Pollard and Kahn on the front row. Pollard with a 1st and a 7th. Kahn with a 2nd and a 6th in the 2 heat races. They start with that average lineup order. They have Ernie Francis out in a backup car. He's at the back of the field. His car is now a black-colored accented machine. He's all the way at the tail end of the field. There's Ernie. And everybody has 4 fresh Goodyears on the car for the beginning of this 75-lap main event.
Absolutely, and I think, honestly, all the drivers are very, very happy to have 4 fresh tires. But I also think that it's very, very tempting to use those in the first 2 laps. I think you want to try to build a bit of a gap so you have less pressure on the rear bumper of your car. But who is going to be the smartest? My first guess is Tony Stewart. He just seems like a sly devil behind the wheel, and he knows that he's smarter than probably a lot of these guys.
Now there is Stewart, who will take the green flag from the outside of row number 2 in 4th position in the red car for our main event. Rules tonight, caution laps will count until There are 10 laps to go in the main. Then all of the final 10 laps must be run under the green flag. There are unlimited attempts at a green-white checker finish at the end. We have some biometrics on the drivers. Tony Stewart from Whoop Live.
I love this because I wear a Whoop wristband every race, and this reminds me of what I see every weekend. We're under yellow, and Tony is at 130 beats per minute. And I promise you, from what I've seen in the past, your heart rate, my heart rate's 160 average, but then when I get overheated, it shoots straight up to upper 180s and never leaves. So we'll be curious to see how this plays out for Tony.
We have the ability to track some of that as we go on. So they're doubling the field up, and they are getting the 1 to go signal for this big crowd here at Five Flags Speedway. Selected as one of the SRX tracks for this year, as home of one of the biggest short track races in America, the Snowball Derby, held the first weekend in December every year now since 1968. A lot of very famous winners of that very famous race. So, lights off on top of the safety car. Field doubled up. Pollard has chosen the outside lane for the restart. It's Pollard in the Patriotic car. Kanaan in the number 6 machine. As we come to the green, the fans come to their feet. It's the main event from Pensacola. Ryan Newman with a quick move to the outside of Kanaan for second place.
Great start from the outside lane there. That was really impressive. I'm not sure whether there just wasn't much traction there on the bottom lane, but Kanaan, I think, would be very, very surprised to going from the inside of the front row to third. And Ryan Newman isn't the hardest person to pass in NASCAR, so I'm sure Tony Kanaan is not looking forward to that effort later.
No contact back in pack. Paul Tracy and Michael Waltrip exchanging the 6th and 7th positions. PT up to 6th, Michael to 7th. Behind them, Bill Elliott with a wiggle to the inside of Marco Andretti.
Paul just trying to set up here and use the bumper maybe just a little bit, but I mean, honestly, so far fairly clean. Paul Tracy, maybe he did change his life over the offseason.
I don't think you were counting on that, right?
Not at all, but it is interesting. With the new tire grip, I do believe we've seen rows of 2 more so than when the tires wear off. When you do have that new rubber, you can kind of stay up high a little bit easier, but once these tires fall off, you'll definitely have to be timing runs to try and shoot it down the inside of some of these guys.
If you're not somebody that follows racing every week, because of the sandy climate in this area, the composition of the racing surface, the oil, the aggregate tends to get evaporated away, scrubbed away, so the surface tends to be a little more full of the stones that make up asphalt, and that tends to work like a cheese grater on these racing tires. If you get too aggressive with the throttle, you take the good off the tires. If you do it just right, maybe you get the lead.
Incredible battle here, honestly. This is what we came here for, side-by-side racing between a local legend here and Ryan Newman, obviously a NASCAR hero. So this is something great here. Ryan's just trying to make that move, trying to make sure that he gives Bubba enough room, but maybe not quite enough. So we know that Bubba knows how to run the outside here, and we'll see if he can pull it off.
A little door banging there.
Now we've got 2 rows, 2 wide. This is what SRX race is all about.
Newman edges ahead down the backstretch, but Pollard rallies back.
This is incredible because you see his experience. He knows how deep to run that outside line, and Ryan's given him a little bit of space so he can stay there. And that obviously makes sure that everyone else behind them can stay really tight and packed up behind them.
Newman to the front. Pollard drops down to the inside and protects that second spot from Tony Kanaan.
And Elio just used his car like a missile on Tony Kanaan, which was quite exciting.
Another look at that contact. They race for the lead.
But that's kind of the surface that you mentioned. When you're down low, he doesn't necessarily mean to make contact, but when you're trying to get on the power, that car, it's got so much power that you almost have a 4-wheel drift up into the car next to you, and you kind of use them as a bit of a brake.
Third place now, coming up to the outside of Tony Kanaan. There's Tony Stewart as Pollard looks to the inside of Ryan Newman.
I think Ryan Newman was paying attention to how quick Bubba was on the top side, and he was trying to give it a shot himself. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. These guys, though, right now are working their tires harder than anyone else when they're going side by side like that.
Pollard back to the front. Remember on opening night of last season for SRX, it was the local hero, Doug Colby, at Stafford Speedway in Connecticut that gave the home fans a thrill by winning the race, beating all the superstars. Here's Pollard looking to become the second of the local all-stars to get a win.
Tell you what, he's not getting away very quickly, but as soon as he sees these guys going side by side in his mirror, I guarantee he's going to want to put some distance between himself and the rest.
Tony Kanaan to the inside, Ryan Newman to the outside, Elio Castroneves right behind the two of them. Tony Stewart has kind of dropped back a little bit into that inside lane in 5th place. Little tire conservation for Smoke.
Yeah, I think Tony might have just had a look at these guys going full sideways into the apex of the corner and thought, you know what? Yeah. There's several laps remaining.
Yeah. Long way to go in this race. Here's Paul Tracy muscling his way to the inside of Stewart.
Well, so much of that changed life comment. He just bumpered Stewart out of his way, and you know what? I love it.
Come on my boat on Sunday. On Saturday night, look out, I'm coming through.
The old boat boys are out there battling for position right now.
Here's Bob Labonte side by side with Stewart. Two former teammates at Joe Gibbs Racing. Labonte with a nudge on Tracy.
Oh, Bobby has so much drive off that corner. It's incredible to see the traction that he built. And there's Tony Stewart, paying back the old fender rub. I love that.
All right, Stewart follows Labonte through. Bill Elliott to the inside of Paul Tracy. PT will close the door. Behind him, Michael Waltrip and Ryan Hunter-Ray knocking around.
There's a lot of names that were
Kanaan. Sorry about that, Kanaan.
No, right.
He kind of clipped the apron in the middle of the corner, and by the time he wrestled it up the racetrack, Pollard had to check up.
That's what I like about this track a lot. Though doing laps earlier, you can mess with the apron a little bit. You can get 2 tires below that yellow line, and sometimes when you find tracks where you can hook the left front on that apron grip, that'll really help you turn. So that's definitely a nice characteristic of this track.
How about Castroneves coming through?
Well, he's obviously an experienced veteran. He's riding the high of winning a heat earlier, and he obviously got a bunch of ice on his body in between races, so I'm sure he's feeling good.
Well, what you said before about the IndyCar guys, you had a hunch were going to be good tonight. Here they are, Kanaan, Castroneves, first, second.
Well, you know what? I think one of the IndyCar field right now is one of the most competitive fields in the world, so it's not surprising to me at all. But let's see how they run off their tires.
Yeah. Tony Kanaan is the race leader. As we close in on a third of the distance in our main event tonight at Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola, Florida. Superstar Saturday night race number 1 of 6. Caution is out. It is a fun flag, as was planned. And let me tell you, with the weather tonight and how hot it is in those race cars, the drivers will welcome them as more fun than anyone.
Absolutely.
Good racing so far. We'll double them up for a restart in just a minute.
Camp for less at Camping World. Right now, get a new Coleman Lantern 17B Disc Camping Starter Kit, 2 years of Good Sam Road Rescue, and a 3-year Good Sam RV warranty for just $149 a month. That's less than $5 a day. Plus, we have the best selection of camping and RV supplies starting at just $9.99. We've got an RV for every lifestyle and a payment for every budget. Camping has never been more affordable. You always camp for less at Camping World. Click, call, or come into your local Camping World today.
If you have advanced non-small cell lung cancer, your first treatment could be a chemo-free combination of 2 immunotherapies that works differently. It could mean a chance to live longer. Opdivo plus Yervoy is for adults newly diagnosed with non-small cell lung cancer that is spread, tests positive for PD-L1, and does not have an abnormal EGFR or ALK gene. Together, Opdivo plus Yervoy helps your immune system launch a response that fights cancer in 2 different ways. Opdivo plus Yervoy equals a chance for more time together, more family time, more time to remember. Opdivo and Yervoy can cause your immune system to harm healthy parts of your body during and after treatment. These problems can be severe and lead to death. See your doctor right away if you have a cough, chest pain, shortness of breath, irregular heartbeat, diarrhea, constipation, severe stomach pain, nausea or vomiting, dizziness, fainting, eye problems, extreme tiredness, changes in appetite, thirst or urine, rash, itching, confusion, memory problems, muscle pain or weakness, joint pain, flushing or fever. These are not all the possible side effects. Problems can occur together and more often when Opdivo is used with Yervoy. Tell your doctor about all medical conditions, including immune or nervous system problems, if you've had or plan to have an organ or stem cell transplant or received chest radiation. Here's to a chance to live longer. Ask your doctor about the combination of 2 immunotherapies, Opdivo plus Yervoy. Thank you to all those in our clinical trials.
Ice cream. Boom.
Sour Patch Kids bits.
Boom.
A slush.
Take a bite, and then we'll all harmonize.
Okay, ready?
Sonic Sour Patch Kids slush float. Sign me
I
up.
think we're a girl group now.
Sign me up.
Live at Five Flags Speedway on Superstar Saturday night, you see Bubba Pollard, the local all-star, on pit lane. And as you saw during the side-by-side commercial break, flat left rear tire being changed on his machine.
Yeah, it's brutal to see, honestly. You hate to see that because he's going to have to start from the rear now. However, left rear is going to be nice and fresh. So
he's going to have the freshest one.
Plenty of laps remaining, and I can promise you if he wins this race, there will be a whole bunch of drivers thinking maybe I pit lap 20 next event and get a new left rear.
So we've had 3 different leaders already in tonight's main through this first caution. The record from all of last year for different drivers leading, not lead changes, but different leaders, was 4 in a main event. So we're almost there already.
This has been fantastic, honestly. The racing, after watching the heats, this has definitely been better than I think, or that I thought it was going to be, but it could be because it's cooled down a little bit. The sun going down, it widens the track a little bit, and I'm very, very excited for the next few laps.
This may be where that flat left rear on Bubba Pollard's car came from. Focus on it.
Yeah, I mean, you just see these guys getting closer and closer, but it's hard to say. I mean, everything on the race cars end up being sharp at one point.
That doesn't look good, Matt.
It's about the size of a pin all the way through right there. That's the hole that the Goodyear engineers have diagnosed, was letting all the air out of his Goodyear racing tire. He'll be at the back putting on a show.
Yes, he will. So Bubba Pollard goes back to 13th in line. We'll see how long it takes him to get to the top 5.
You know what's really interesting, too? You've got guys like Greg Biffle, Marco Andretti back there. Yeah. I mean, those are 2 really, really quick guys. So I'm very curious to see if they've just been saving tires or if they start to go the attack now.
All right, coming to the green flag. Bubba Pollard back in 13th. It's Tony Kanaan and Helio Castroneves side by side in row 1. Ryan Newman and Bobby Labonte in row number 2. And by the way, Tony Stewart and Paul Tracy side by side in row 3 after they tangled a bit ago.
Great restart from everyone, really. You see the guys basically side by side, several rows deep. This is fantastic racing yet again.
Tony Kanaan and Helio Castroneves, fellow countrymen from Brazil, they have raced together an awful lot, but I'll bet neither one of them over a year ago would have thought they'd be racing a stock car on a short track on a Saturday night like this.
Yeah, I'm really sure they started racing IndyCar before I was even 10 years old. So incredible careers they've both had, and they know how to race each other. They've been doing it for years.
They have both embraced the concept of SRX so fully and with such enthusiasm. 2 just great guys, not just great race drivers, and it'll be Kanaan who gets the lead away from Castroneves there.
Tony Kanaan is an absolute athlete. The guy is on a bicycle every morning at 4 in the morning because he's got 20 kids, it seems like, and his wife's working hard every day. And so you know that this guy is an elite athlete, a triathlete, an Ironman cyclist, all kinds of things, and his heart rate is pumping real hard.
Just to clarify, Tony is a father of 4.
That's a lot. I have 3 younger brothers, and I know how that goes.
All right, so it's Kanaan, Castroneves, Newman, Labonte, and Stewart into 5th. Paul Tracy just got knocked back to 9th place in a shuffle of traffic.
I think we're going to have to dial up our friend Tony Stewart here and see how he's feeling during the race. Tony Stewart, it's Connor Daly. How you feeling out there?
Trying to find the air conditioner switch right now, bud.
Yeah, it looks like they've all been shut off from up here, but it looks like you got rid of Paul Tracy pretty quickly. I thought you guys became friends on your boats.
Well, he tried to scare the crap out of me, but no, it's fun riding with him. But he makes it interesting out here for sure.
What do you think is going to be the next step to catching old Bobby in front of you? What do you think? Are we saving tires, or are we going full throttle right now?
No, we're trying to take care of things a little bit. We got on the outside there, trying to get by Tony Kanaan, and probably hurt him a little bit. So just trying to make nice with my 4 fresh Goodyears here. See if I can take care of him for a little while.
Well, we appreciate you talking to us, and I won't be your spotter, but watch out for Ryan Hunter-Ray. He's right behind you.
Yeah, appreciate that. I wasn't paying attention.
Tony Stewart riding in 5th position, last year's SRX champion, with a couple of wins in the 6 races from last summer.
Tony Stewart, one of the best personalities in all motorsport, I think, and also one of the most talented drivers across open wheel and the stock car scene.
So you ride with Ryan Hunter-Reay here. Here, you know, one of the things that I love about this concept, I was talking about it, about Castroneves and Kanaan, but Ryan Hunter-Reay has driven a stock car type race car the last time in 2006 when he did a test at Caraway Speedway in North Carolina for the General Motors Driver Development Program.
Yes, you know what? It just goes to show you, though, that when you become a driver at the top level, whether it's a Formula One driver, NASCAR driver, IndyCar driver, you are an elite level driver, and I think a lot of people defend each area of their sport very, very aggressively. But when you look at this right now, you've got some of the best IndyCar drivers out there, you've got some of the best stock car drivers out there, some of the best short track drivers out there, and everyone is very, very competitive, and it's very, very close. And honestly, I think if you brought Lewis Hamilton or any of the Formula One drivers out here to race with these guys too, they'd be close just with everyone else.
Caution flags out. Bubba Pollard up to 7th position at this second yellow flag of our main event tonight at Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola.
The loyal order of riders.
Riders, let your queries be known.
How come we don't call ourselves bikers anymore? I mean, riders is cool, but bikers, really cool.
Seriously?
Deny. Can we go back to meeting at the rec center? The commute here is brutal.
Deny.
How do you feel about getting a vote to see if we can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer?
Should Flo stop asking the same question every time?
Approved.
Denied! Whoa.
This is Maya Titan. She's smiling because her small culinary supply store, Titan's Pans, is up and running. And this is NFL star Derrick Henry, accidentally tagging Titan's Pans instead of his loyal fans. Which, very unexpectedly, has her business trending. And trending, and trending, and oh my. And there goes the internet. Good thing Maya uses FedEx to help prepare for unexpected demand. Because you never know what's next.
Verizon just gave us all a brand new iPhone 13.
We've been customers for years. I thought new phones were for new customers. We got iPhone 13s too, switched to Verizon 2 minutes ago.
Ours were busted, and we still got a shiny new one.
Check it out. So wait, everybody gets the same great deal.
I think that's the point.
Now everyone can get a new iPhone 13 on us on America's most reliable 5G network.
Can I have a phone?
For every customer, current, new, everyone, to show the love.
Our passion for protecting vehicles started in 1934. And we've been pushing the limits of performance ever since. We innovate with the times and have trusted filters to fit your needs. Yeah, we've been around the block, but our journey is just beginning. Fram for the road ahead. Look for us at these retailers.
The Camping World SRX Series tonight, our debut for the summer of 2022, live from Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola, Florida. And a reminder that tomorrow on CBS, it's a full afternoon of sports. It begins at 1 Eastern with a special roundtable discussion on Title IX on We Need to Talk. That's followed by action in the WNBA between Connecticut and Washington. Then at 4 Eastern, we move to the pitch for live coverage of the NWSL. That's all tomorrow here on CBS. That is our in-car artificial intelligence system showing you a little bit of the business going on board Michael Waltrip's machine.
Yeah, this is great data, honestly. When they get going under green, and it'd be great to tune into this and see really how much these guys are trying to be easy on the throttle to conserve those rear tires, but also how aggressive are they trying to defend the guys behind them.
Michael running in 9th position at the moment for the two-time Daytona 500 winner. Looks like about 2,000 RPM as he chugs around behind the pace car. So getting ready to go now with a little past halfway in our event.
You know what, when we talk about the heat as well, sometimes these pace laps are the worst because when you're at speed, you get the air flowing through those vents. When you're not at speed, guess what's not flowing through those vents, Alan?
Well, at the other side of that coin is some of the drivers were telling us earlier today that running around under the caution, sticking the hand outside the window net, that kind of thing, they could direct a little additional air to themselves to try and cool down. So we'll hope that that's the case, because we know they're working hard while they're racing.
I do have experience recently racing some old Crown Victoria race cars. Yes, those are old police cars, and under yellow it was the worst. When asked about the race, it was an incredible time. And did I win? No, but we did have to open the doors under yellow, and these guys can't really open their doors to cool themselves down.
Doubled up for the restart here. I know you're kind of new at this, but you can't drop something like that and not expect me to follow up on it. So you better be prepared, like with photos next week or something.
No, don't worry.
Just
I got
saying.
some in the chamber for you.
There you go. All right, Tony Kanaan, race leader, has chosen the inside line for the restart. Elio Castroneves is outside him. Then it'll be Ryan Newman and Bobby Labonte, Tony Stewart and Ryan Hunter-Reay, then Bubba Pollard up to 7th place as we go green.
Love a bit of side-by-side battle in here. 5 Indy 500s between those two gentlemen right there. And I love a bit of gamesmanship as well on the start. Elio accelerating real hard down the back straight, trying to dupe old Tony into a bit of an early acceleration.
Whoa, a little contact, a little slide. Kanaan up into Castroneves, and they keep it square.
Elio almost with the reverse slide job around the outside. I respect that.
More contact.
Still in each other's doors.
Ryan Newman saying, okay, which way's the lane going to open up?
Ryan Newman is the happiest man in motorsport right now, just waiting for these two guys to put each other in the wall.
Bubba Pollard looking inside of Ryan Hunter-Reay behind this great fight for the race lead. It'll settle down as Castroneves tries to cross over. He dropped way down off turn number 2.
You know what? And I saw some dust fly up from his car as well, so not many people have gone that low down the back straight.
So Tony Kanaan out in front. He's led 28 of the 47 laps in our main event so far. Bubba Pollard has moved back up to now 6th position around Ryan Hunter-Reay.
What's really interesting, too, it looked like Tony Stewart might have a bit of an issue, too. He lost a couple positions to the guys, and he's just been staying low. So very curious to see what's going on with Smoke as well.
Issue or saving tires?
Gamesmanship. Who knows?
You just don't know.
I never know with Tony. He wanted to see what he could get on the restart maybe and then back her down. Who knows?
Especially the guys that had to do that double file restart in the outside lane.
Yes.
So there's Stewart from the bumper of Ryan Hunter-Reay.
I think Ryan Hunter-Reay's got to be super happy with how this has gone so far for him. I mean, first time out here, first race with this group of people. And, I mean, there's no question that he is one of the most talented American drivers, certainly on the planet right now. Indy 500 champion, IndyCar champion, and it's great to see him out here. He definitely deserves to be out here with these guys.
With us for all 6 of our Superstar Racing Experience events this summer. There's Hunter-Reay, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 41-year-old, father of 4. Just signed a contract to work with Chip Ganassi Racing, developing the next generation of Cadillac race car for 2023. Now, this happened a year ago at Stafford, where Greg Biffle had a problem in one of the heat races and got some fresher tires than other people and came rocketing through the field in the main event, eventually kind of wore him out and couldn't finish the job as Doug Coby got the win. I may not have perfectly recapped that whole series of events, but you get the picture.
No, I get it, and you know what? He just absolutely fired it to the outside of Bobby Labonte there, and that was very interesting because I think Bobby kind of just let him by. He saw how quick he was going, and he didn't really want to fight him on that one.
That's right. Bobby, well, the Labontes, Bobby and his older brother Terry, have both been always very good from inside the race car at being a thinking man's driver, if you will, seeing the bigger picture and being more patient than most.
That's exactly what that was. Yeah. Honestly, blown away he made it that easy. I mean, I thought there was a bit more aggression out there, but you never know. Maybe Bobby's just saving it for the last 5 laps.
So Andrew Bubba Pollard, 35 years old, Sonoya, Georgia. His granddad had founded Sonoya Raceway in Georgia in their hometown. His dad raced Bubba races as well as works a day job during the week with some of the family business. He's won the Oxford 250 in Maine. He's won the Slinger Nationals in Wisconsin. He's won the Snowball Derby here at Five Flags. He's a 4-time track champion here. And every other one of the superstars today wanted to watch his first practice laps and soak up all the knowledge they could about this place. Yellow flag is out. With 19 laps to go, this is our caution flag, fun flag number 3. Tony Kanaan and Castroneves first and second. They'll double them up to restart with finish in sight.
Okay, this is a freezer, not a time capsule. Sometimes the house itself can tell you how a young homeowner is turning into their parents.
Not those two.
Yep, they're gone.
Forever?
Yep.
That there is Progressive's Home Quote Explorer website where I compared home insurance rates.
We don't need to print the internet. Some are beyond help. I will give you $100 if you can tell me what this is.
Scotch egg.
It's a meatball.
Progressive can't help you from becoming your parents, but we can help you compare rates on home insurance with Home Quote Explorer.
We've got a lot of work to do.
You RV to escape. Escape the humdrum of daily life. Escape your routine. Escape to your sunnier side. At Sun Outdoors, you're free to do, well, anything. Free to drift here or splash there. Free to turn happy hour into nature hour and back to an even happier evening. There are over 150 Sun Outdoors resorts. Escape to your sunnier side at any one of them.
Eliminating grays is as easy as combing your hair. With Just for Men Easy Comb in Color. Just twist and comb. Getting natural looking results.
Let's get this meeting started.
Has never been easier. The most men trust Just for Men.
The next pick in the NBA draft is Johnny Davis.
The toasted cheddar chalupa is back, only at Taco Bell.
What happens when performance meets power? You try crazy things because you're crazy and you like it. You get bigger, badder, faster. You can never have too much of a good thing. And power is a very good thing.
Back live at Five Flags Speedway on Superstar Saturday night. The Camping World SRX Series coming down to what will be 15 laps of racing to the finish. We'll take the green with about 15 to go. Remember, the final 10 laps of the race must be run under the green flag. Tony Kanaan leading the first laps he's led in an SRX event, running last season and this in a main event. He's led 40 of the laps we've run so far. But the man everybody's got an eye on is going to line up on the outside of row number 2, the local all-star Bubba Pollard.
Absolutely, and with 17 to go, I mean, this is where I think the full send mode comes out to play here. There's going to be guys firing it down the inside here on the restart because you might not get that chance again. I mean, we probably will. Obviously, there's probably going to be more restarts, but you know, now is your shot to make up positions. You're going to have Michael Waltrip, Tony Stewart, Marco Andretti near the back that are going to be like, all right, now it's time to go. We've been saving our tires. Let's try to get around some of these guys.
Doubled up now for the restart. So it'll be Kanaan and Castroneves in row 1. In row 2, Newman and Pollard. Bobby Labonte, can he stay right up on Newman and keep Pollard forced to the outside as they get ready for this restart? There's Labonte in the white car. Ryan Hunter-Reay in the black car, but up front, it's Castroneves to the inside, Kanaan to the outside, green flag with 15 laps to go.
Oh, we see Elio just at the left rear corner. Not enough of a nudge to move him out of the way, but enough to say, hey there, pal, I'm right here.
Castroneves inside, Kanaan outside, Pollard and Newman right behind them.
This is fantastic racing. Just again, it's like we're still on the pace laps. 2 by 2, no row has separated single file. This is exactly what we came here to see.
Elio had a little wiggle getting off the corner. He charged into 3. Kanaan saw him coming, moved up, gave him room. They get through it okay.
Kanaan still trying to hang out to that outside corner, but it looks like he's lost it. And Elio will basically now just try to put the hammer down and build up a bit of a gap.
Elio Castroneves to the lead as we come to 12 to go. Ryan Newman fighting all he can to keep Bubba Pollard outside of him.
Incredible onboard views here from Elio Castroneves. Trying to see how smooth he's got to be here to hang onto the tires, but also keep the lead. I mean, this is a 4-time champ right here at the Indy 500, so he knows what he's got to do.
Here's a look at the scoring on Elio Castroneves tonight.
you can see how easy he has to be on the throttle coming out of the corners. These cars have so much power that when the tires are nice and hot, nice and slippery, you got to make sure you get down the straights as efficiently as possible and be smooth on the power.
Coming down to 10 laps ago for Castroneves. He's put about 4 car lengths on Kanaan. Then that race for third. Bubba Pollard not able to get around Ryan Newman on the outside, so Newman slides into the third spot, holds on to it for now, and Bobby Labonte's fallen a couple of car lengths back off of these two.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think this battle between Bubba and Ryan Newman has actually been one of the best of the entire event tonight. I think these guys are putting on a complete show here of switching lanes. One guy's up top one time, one guy's up top the next time. They switch around a little bit, and it's just two super talented drivers.
Here they come as the pressure begins to build on Tony Kanaan for second place. Ryan Newman looks inside. Can't get enough running room. He'll try it again off turn number 2.
Tony Kanaan might have burnt off a little bit of those tires. He's being real defensive now, making sure Ryan has to go to the outside. I'm a little bit surprised by this for sure, but that is how these races work sometimes. You might just be the guy who's been a little bit too aggressive on the tires.
Castroneves leads. This is the fight for second. Kanaan inside, Newman outside. Pollard looking for the open lane.
Now, if Bubba was a Paul Tracy, he would have just gone straight into the back of Kanaan and hit them both out of the way. That would have been awesome.
Newman going to stay up a lane. Kanaan protects that bottom at all costs, but Newman can't hook the outside up. Kanaan tries it again.
It's incredible to see the use of the top side here from Ryan Newman. I mean, there's clearly some grip out there, and a lot of the times it allows you to use the car more how you want it. The car will handle differently on the top lane compared to how it handles on the bottom lane.
While this side-by-side is going on for second, Castroneves is getting away from these.
Oh, there it is.
Slips. Here comes Pollard.
There's the 3-wide battle that we were hoping for. Bubba Pollard on the inside, Kanaan in the middle, Ryan Newman on the outside. Absolutely fantastic move. That's exactly what Bubba was trying to do. That was almost exactly the move that I referenced that Paul Tracy was waiting for.
Now can Pollard get around Ryan Newman? As you said earlier, his reputation being one of the hardest guys to pass.
Absolutely, and you know what? He's putting that to the test right now.
Coming to 2 laps to go. Castroneves leads. This is the race for second. Pollard is inside. Newman is outside.
I don't want this race to end, honestly. Can we add another 10?
Don't tell the bosses.
Yeah.
2 laps to go for Castroneves.
Elio is cruising. Bubba Pollard is trying to get that second spot from Ryan Newman. This is the battle that we're going to have to watch to the end, because there's no shot any of these guys can catch Elio unless there's a last lap activity.
White flag. Elio Castroneves 1 lap away from an SRX Series win, while Pollard and Newman continue to fight side by side for second. 2 more corners to go for Castroneves.
Oh, Bubba Pollard just came up a little bit on Ryan Newman's left front there. That was wild.
Checkered flag and a win at Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola in the SRX Series for Elio Castroneves. The 4-time Indianapolis 500 winner is a winner in the Superstar Racing Experience.
That was an incredible event. Great for Elio. I mean, he looked like he was being beat by the heat, and sure enough, he showed everyone here tonight.
Good job, driver. Great job, Elio. Great job.
In his 7th start in the Superstar Racing Experience, his first win and his 6th driver to win a main in the 7 races. Castroneves wins tonight in Pensacola. We'll talk to him when we come back.
Camping World SRX Series on CBS Sports is sponsored by Fram, trusted since 1934, and by Progressive. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance.
Tonight, next on 48 Hours, accused of having his parents killed. The motive? Money for a house and cosmetic surgery for his girlfriend. So why doesn't his sister believe it? 48 Hours next on CBS. We welcome you back out to Pensacola as our first race of the SRX season is in the books. We're going to show you the podium right now. On that top spot, it is IndyCar champion Helio Castroneves. Bubba Pollard, the local sensation, finishing second, followed by Ryan Newman, who held strong. And take a look, as he's done so many times in IndyCar, Helio Castroneves, to the fans' delight, climbing the fence. You could have heard the crowd scream as he celebrated this win in SRX. Matt Yoakum is standing by with Helio. Matt?
It looked like it didn't even break a sweat. Climbing the fence, Helio Castroneves. Nobody tried harder a year ago to be right here in Victory Lane. Illustrious career, 4 Indy 500 wins. What does this moment mean to you?
This is fantastic. You know, what a great, thank you, SRX. Everyone here, it just did absolutely amazing. Tony, thank you so much. Hawk and I had a bet. Winning the race, he would have found me one race in NASCAR, right? Right, Rock? Right there, Hawk. He's right here anyway. So let me focus here. I want to thank so many people. Thank you, SRX, for giving me this opportunity. My buddy Tony, I don't know what happened to him. We were right there together. But what a tough crowd. I mean, these guys here are so competitive. So it was super cool, man. Running side by side with my team, my brother, actually, Tony, and I don't know what happened to him, but in the end of the day, yes, I worked really hard to get in the P1, so we got it, man.
Dancing with the Stars, 4-time Indy 500 champion, now SRX winner.
Helio Castroneves talking there to the fans, making their day. Next week, you can join us for another short track Saturday night. We're going to bring you the action from South Boston, Virginia. Helio Castroneves and the crew tonight battling incredible heat to stick with it and get that win. For all of us here at CBS, we want to wish a happy Father's Day to all the dads out there on our team and yours. From our group here in Pensacola, we say good night. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next Saturday night from a short track in Virginia.